Oh, hello. It
What's
must be
up,
time for B-Sticks Podcast. Shit.
motherfuckers?
I was just getting ready to play some Fortnite, and here you guys are, knocking at my door.
Yeah!
The fuck's up?
Ready for some beef in the cell?
Get the beef in the cell!
We ain't talking about prison rape. Nah. There's a different beef in the cell. Different beef in a different cell.
Yeah, same smell.
But still altogether enjoyable. I mean, after the first few, you learn to just enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, it makes it worse. Just loosen the sphincter, just take it in. You know, it's going to happen one way or the other. So you just let it happen. You're right. Here, folks, Beef Sticks Podcast. We condone prison rape.
Yes, Beef Sticks Podcast. Member of the Cloud Style Broadcasting Group. The family of podcasts that brings you entertainment weekly for you the freaky deaky. Stick it in your cheeky. And then you gotta start to tweaky or twerky. You make me want to jerky.
That's when you know it's working.
And then open up the curtains. Yeah.
And let all the skirting. Make it so it's hurting. Get your ass splurting when you're working. Oh my gosh. All right, we're just curtain jerking here, folks.
The curtain jerk.
I do not apologize for that.
Man, have we got a show for you guys tonight. We are so completely prepared. It's going to be amazing. I mean, did you guys watch Hell in a Cell?
Did you see it?
Let us know in the comments.
I'm interested to hear feedback from our viewers and our listeners, because I've read and I've heard and I've seen a lot of feedback from a lot of different places, in the wrestling community, podcast community, just every other community that there is. I think the homosexual community had a thing or two to say, and I disagree with I think a lot of them. And just from the little bit we spoke beforehand, I think you and I are almost on the same page about some of the stuff. But we'll get into that. First off, let's give a little love and a little appreciation to those people who love and appreciate us by giving us their sponsorship.
Yes. Do you ever look at your car and say, God damn it, the thing is so plain and boring. I need
Looks
to liven
like
it up.
naked.
It's naked. Put a bra on that thing. And while you're at it, hit up my man Corey Matthews at Monster Wear Clothing for that premium vinyl goodness. High quality products, incredible turnout rate, sourced locally so you don't gotta pay out the ass for shipping and handling, or you can pick it up direct at the source. Not only do they do decals for your car and your walls and your television sets and whatever kids are putting things on these days. I mean, they don't got CD players anymore, so I don't know where you really put them anymore.
I put my thing on your mom's head and you went.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay. But they also do custom hockey masks, painted masterfully, top of the line. T-shirts, great quality products. Brought to you by Monster Wear Clothing.
You know, talking about slapping my dick on your mom's head makes me think of one of my favorite rap verses of all time. It's Snoop Dogg, and he says, "Baby was a virgin. That's what she said. So I got some Hennessy. She gave me some head. I fucked her on the floor so I won't mess up my bed. The little half-dead put his dick on her head." That's just one of my favorite lines.
That's so great.
And it's not poetic, and it's not like it's not justice, and it's not like exploring the troublesome of the streets, but it's fucking fun.
It's fucking fun.
You need some fucking fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your go ahead.
No, that's
Sell
it.
some shit.
That's it. Shill some
Not
shit.
only that, But we also have a Patreon, folks. If you want to be a part of the Cloud Style family, but don't feel like coming and hanging out at either of the hosts, you can do that by going to Patreon and going to Cloud Style Broadcasting.
Right.
It's a
live streaming video and podcast is too mainstream for
Cloud
some people. You gotta go underground. You want to get that premium content, you go to our Patreon page and sign up today.
Yes.
You can be a member for as low as $1 and as many as $5. But no more than that. We're not greedy.
You can do a lot more than that, baby.
Well, if you want to do more than that, I would urge you to check out our GoFundMe. Tell them about it, Fat Mac.
GoFundMe. Everybody knows about GoFundMe. It made rompers a thing. And now we're trying to make Cloud Style Broadcasting a big thing. Not like my thing, but a big thing. And so go over to GoFundMe and go look for Cloud Style Broadcasting, those 3 words. You can help us out. We are going to invest in equipment. We are going to invest in product. We are going to invest in various merchandise that we can give away at live events.
You like this? You like this logo over here on the new Beef Sticks Podcast live stream video? You could get that on a t-shirt as long as you're funding the product.
Check it out. And if nothing else, just come and listen to us. We're on YouTube. We have live streaming, or you can check us out afterwards on YouTube. It's Beef Sticks Podcast. Go ahead and check out the Facebook page, Beef Sticks Podcast on Facebook. We have a Twitter account. It is Beef Sticks CSB. So go to Twitter at Beef Sticks CSB. Go ahead and hit that up. You can email us at beefstickspodcast
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. I think it's that simple. So,
and not only that, but you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker,
Google Play Music.
Google Play Music. You got us right on your Android and Apple devices at your fingertips anytime you want it. All you got to do is search for Beef Sticks Podcast.
Tell your friends, tell your family members. You know, that's a great Christmas present right there. Christmas is coming up. Just tell them about Beef Sticks Podcast. That's all you need to do. You know, it doesn't cost you any money. And it gives them a whole year of love and enjoyment and entertainment and us and fuckery.
You mentioned Christmas, and to a lot of people that conjures up, you know, close times with family. You don't really get to see a lot. Nestled around the Christmas tree, opening presents, eating cookies, having some eggnog. But when I think about Christmas, I think about Holoblaze.
Holoblaze!
Man, and this year is going to be insane. But I don't even want to get into Holoblaze, because Holoblaze isn't the closest thing coming up. No. You know,
no.
What comes to mind when you think of holidays like Christmas? Thanksgiving. And
what
we got that
Thanksgiving
for your ass too. Cloud Style Broadcasting and 1812 Records present Welcome Taken, a throwback Thanksgiving. One night where the past comes back to life and you get to re-witness some of the most amazing acts in Minnesota's hip-hop history. This is going to be one hell of a show. I plan on releasing the full lineup this weekend. But we've got the entire 1812 Records back together for one night before they retire the tank for good. I'm talking Big H, Slim Chances, Ashley, TK, and the Minnesota Menace. It's going to be... I love when these guys put on shows. Oh, yeah, and we can't forget Zero, the newest member of 1812 Records and longtime friend of the Northern Lights. Zero is coming in from Ohio.
Zero is coming in for one time only.
For one time only.
1, 0, 10, 10, 10, 10.
I'm telling you, folks, you don't want to miss this because Zero's been doing big shit on the East Coast, and now he's in Ohio, and they've been doing lots of stuff as well. But Zero himself is coming to an end soon. So this will be the last time Minnesota gets to see Zero. And that's fantastic. He hasn't been here for 7 years. He hasn't put on a show here in that long. Really excited to have him back. And, of course, we got the Northern Lights. We're going to say, fuck it. Throw all shit to the wind. And we're going to do a completely classic Northern Lights set. All the old hits, the songs you haven't heard for years. And you're like, why don't you guys play those anymore? And I'm like, because all we have is album quality tracks. Well, we're like, fuck it. It's one night. We're going to do it. We're going to do it right. Shit-faced, nightlife, fucking, we're going to have some surprises for you in this set. So, come on up and check it out.
Munchies!
It's too new almost. It's too new almost. We'll see. You never know. You never know what'll happen at a Cloud Style Broadcasting event. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like a WWE house show.
Who knew?
Who knew? So yeah, come check us out. Welcome Taken, a throwback Thanksgiving brought to you by 1812 Records and Cloud Style Broadcasting. Saturday, November 11th at Club Underground, downtown Minneapolis. Tickets are $5. Flat rate. Come get them. Cloud Style Broadcasting, bringing you the best in podcast and entertainment.
Cloud Style blowing the fuck up! And I like it. I love it. And I want some more of it. And we're going to give you more. We're going to give you more. We're only 11 minutes into this fucking shit. I ain't going to call it quits now.
And we started on time.
Fucking started the show.
How the fuck did we start on time? That never happened.
Because I have shit flowing at a nice fucking pace and we're on track.
It's amazing how when you put numbers on a page, everything is so much better. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, just the small things like some random numbers. I guess they're not so random, but still. Makes a big difference, man. Which leaves us, since there are numbers on there, and we still got 3 numbers left, it leaves us a little bit of time for a little bit of brewski love. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I love a brewski love. In fact, my first love was not brewski love.
Oh, wait. I'm not there.
My first love was actually marijuana. But I still love her, but we just haven't seen each other for a while. She's out doing her thing. Johnson. She fucking sold her wild oats and shit, and I'm kind of doing my own thing. I kind of just spread roots and all. So we're seeing other people, and that's okay. That's okay, because we all love Mary Jane better than cocaine keeps you safe. We all love Mary Jane. Well, a while ago, man, when Tom Petty died, that was the last dance with Mary Jane, man. Nobody's gonna have another dance again. They can smoke her, but they ain't dancing.
I never wanna dance again.
So are we refrigerators?
Yeah, let's take a trip, folks.
Refrigerator, why do I love you so? Because you hold my food and my beer, so you're my heart and soul. Refrigerator.
The fuck you drinking on tonight, Fat Mac?
Man, we've been going for a while. I'm gonna crack a new one. This one's empty.
I'm about to have to crack a new one.
Tis the season, as it would seem. It is October 12th. Last show I was gonna do it, and I said, nah, it's too early into the month to bust it out. But I'm busting it out now. I got, oh shit, nobody knows. I got Leinenkugel's Oktoberfest.
There you go.
Any Oktoberfest will do. They're all pretty similar. Shells might have my favorite Oktoberfest, but I did a lot of Shells in the past few shows because I got that sampler pack. So I didn't want to overdo Shells, and I wanted to show some love to everybody. And you know what? There's not a lot of things that promote Native Americans. You got Land O'Lakes butter. That's about fucking it. Hell, the initials are LOL. That's a fucking joke. What else do you got, man? You got the Washington Redskins that suck at football. So you don't got much, but we got Leinenkugel's. And they got a good Oktoberfest beer here. Of course, if you folks know Oktoberfest, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's a German-style beer. It's heavy. It's somewhat dark. It's got an earthy flavor to it. Leinenkugels is actually, I give it credit.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Oktoberfests are really heavy, and this one isn't quite as heavy, which I like, especially when I got 2 hours to drink it in, and I tend to drink a lot when I'm doing my 2-hour show. Right. And then I don't want to feel bloated afterwards, and then I can't sleep. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a baby in my belly, and then the alien comes out like an alien. Like, then the fucking the face eaters and the face biters and the face sitters. Yeah. No, Leinenkugel's got some really good Oktoberfest. It gives you what you're looking for, but it almost feels like a light Oktoberfest without losing any flavor. It's just not quite as heavy. This may be the first time I've had Leinenkugel's Oktoberfest. I doubt it. I frequent Oktoberfest through the month. But recommend it. Recommend it, folks. What you got, man?
Man, the beer I got ain't nobody had before. This shit is so rare, you could only find it in the Rocky Mountains. And of course, I'm talking about Coors Light. Because I thought about buying pumpkin shandy, and then I'm like, I could buy a whole shit ton of this beer and be drinking beer all week. And I wanted to have something for Hell in a Cell, and I wanted to have something that would last me through the show and beyond. And it was cheap, and I'm cheap. And it's Coors.
Well, you know what they say. Pumpkin shandy's fine and dandies, but Coors is cooler. I don't think anybody's ever said that. But.
Well, now somebody has.
Now somebody can say that. Yeah,
now we can hashtag it.
Yeah, you got, I always try to make sure I got beer around for a pay-per-view, man, because you have to. The only thing I was really bummed about with this last pay-per-view is due to my previous medical conditions, I'm still my stomach does not treat me well, and so I was not able to like pay-per-view food it. In fact, if I remember right, I think for my pay-per-view, I ate, I think I just ate I had a couple regular croissants. Like just croissants, not like a croissant sandwich. Just a couple regular croissants. Pathetic. But those are the breaks, man. I'm still getting back. The breaks. Bring it up, bring it down.
I was going to cover that whole song at one point in my life. I have memorized every word of it so I could cover it. And I just never have.
I covered your mom's hole.
Okay.
Really dogging on your mom? What's that about, man?
I don't know. You've met the lady.
She's a kind lady. Very well, man. I've seen her get mad too. I bet you she could whoop a shoe. I ain't seen it yet, but I bet she could whoop a shoe like whap, motherfucker. She had like what, fucking 12 of y'all, man. That's hard to fucking corral around. Man.
You're
gotta whip a shoe or keep y'all in line. I'd whoop a shoe at you. That's for damn. I've whooped a shoe at my son before, not for many years. I think he was 1 at the time. Motherfucker was whining in his crib and shit. I was like, motherfucker, whap.
Wow.
Whapping at him. It was cleats.
Metal
cleats. But that motherfucker never asked for milk again. In fact, I can't even give him milk nowadays. I wonder why.
It's the cleats.
Then tomorrow CPS is going to show up at my house. Mr. Mac, we got a report about some cleat throwing.
I love that they'd call you Mr. Mac, too. That's great. Mr. Mac.
Well, if they heard it from here, they just got to go by this information as far as I know. So we did ramble a little bit, but we're going to get into news, notes, rumors, a lot on the rumor mill this week. We're not journalists, folks, okay? I don't think we've ever claimed to be journalists. We'd like to give you the news, but we also report on rumors that are happening. I like to believe when we report on rumors, we put it out there that it's rumored and it's not factual, and this is what we've heard through outside sources. I don't have Vince McMahon calling me, telling me this shit.
And I do believe there's a lot of truth and a lot of rumors that come out from the WWE end of things.
Yeah, like most rumors, there's usually a thread of truth in there. But it is a lot of rumor today, and there's not a lot to it. So let's get to it. Probably the biggest thing. I put something in here that we're not supposed to talk about right now, Pasty. But so just ignore that SDL deal, because that's if we get to talk about SmackDown, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
I had to put it in there though, because I didn't want to lose out on it. I was like, how the fuck did he not fucking hit that? I would have. Damn. Whatever. Everybody's like, what the fuck are they talking about? So
they
I think
shouldn't play Dolph Ziggler's music if he's gonna come out with no entrance either. It should just be no entrance at all.
Give it to the world. Give it to.
So dumb.
I don't even know what the fuck. What does this music say? I always say I give it to the world, but that's not what it says.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It says I give it to the world. So he's Stephen King. He gave it to the world.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? He gave it to the world. He's Stephen King.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Stephen King's intro music. I give it to the world. And then there. So again, the biggest that's coming out, I think, right now is that it seems like this past Monday Nitro, y'all might have thought, oh, everything went fine and well. There was a lumberjack match for the title. Kalisto won it. Spoiler alert there.
Right. It made sense because nobody else could fight for it.
That's true. But what it sounds like is that the original plan was for it to be Neville versus Enzo in a lumberjack match, and Enzo was going over and keeping the title. Makes sense. They just put the title on him. Makes sense. That would be it. But the reason we didn't get that, allegedly, rumor mill, is that Neville actually walked out of Monday Night Raw. He did not want to do the job to Enzo. He didn't want to lose again. Apparently, he's been asking to go to the main roster. He's been voicing his opinion about not wanting to be stuck in a 205 Live bubble. And he wanted to be on the main roster, and they weren't doing anything with that. So he walked out, forcing them to rewrite the main event of a show, which, by the way, I mean, no matter how he feels, that's bad professionally. Right. Not saying he was wrong, folks. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is professionally, when you're booked in the main event and you fucking alter that on short notice, that's bad. It's just not professional. He walked out, so they put Kalisto in there. They had Kalisto go over. Kalisto is the new champ. I'm okay with that. I feel he's a better champ than Enzo, although I felt that Enzo was getting into his own, and as a heel character, he was doing okay. His matches are not good. This match with Kalisto was not good. I loved all of Kalisto's spots and nothing else. Yeah, it's kind of a thing, man. Kind of a huge thing. Yeah. It sounds like he has asked for his release, is from what we're hearing from different places. Pasty, give me your point of view on this. We got more to talk about. I got a sidebar, and I'm gonna bar to the side real quick. All right. Let me know what you're thinking about this, though.
No, I definitely believe that Neville is in the right to leave WWE. He's come back. He's been so good. He's been better than he's ever been. He's ran the cruiserweight division this whole time. If you're going to take the title off him, give him another shot at the main roster. Why are you going to continue to hold him back? He's better than a lot of people out there. I would love to see him versus AJ Styles in like a best of 7 series. Personally.
Yes!
That would be amazing.
Yes!
No,
Could
Neville, in my eyes, walking out, being the main event, is probably not the best thing in the world to do. But, through Neville's perspective, WWE's changed shit on him last minute all the time.
Yeah, WWE changes shit on everybody last minute.
Right. So for him, I could see where his mentality would be. Like, no, fuck you. Now, him walking out on his contract, I feel like he's going to have a much harder time getting out of it They're going to hold on to him. They might even Rey Mysterio him or try to.
Especially the way he did it. Yeah. I could see them just fucking with him and holding him as long as they can and not having him on TV, not having him do nothing. Right. Just fucking dangling him by his goddamn feet as if he was halfway through a fucking red arrow and froze.
But if you're going to take the cruiserweight title off of him and give any hope to the cruiserweight division ever like going further than where they're at right now, let him go to the main roster. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, you don't have to give him the world title. Put him in the US and IC title picture.
Like I said, a best of 7 series with AJ Styles would be fucking amazing.
I mean, could you imagine how much media they'd get on that? How many people would be talking about that? The ratings pops for that. You could put out a DVD of just those 7 fucking matches. Because you know it'd go 7. You know it would.
And 205 Live, you'd see results from that as well. Because people would be like, holy shit, what have I been missing from Neville? And they'll go back and at least rewatch the old stuff.
They'd be like, this is the former cruiserweight champion who's given us these amazing matches on Raw or on Raw, presumably, but Raw or SmackDown, whichever. Then maybe they click over to 205 Live, and we know they're trying to get viewers on 205 Live, so this could be one way.
And knowing that people can come from 205 Live to the main roster gives people more reason to watch it. You know, I want to see who's going to be coming next.
And gives the 205 roster a little more hope.
Yeah.
He can't be the only one thinking that he's...
It doesn't have to be NXT where 90% of the people graduate from the program. There can be lifers on 205 Live, but you got to give them, as a whole, a ray of hope.
You know, there's been talks about Conor McGregor talking to Vince McMahon. He would be amazing to start out in 205 Live.
They'll never do that. He'll be on Monday Night Raw.
Conor McGregor on 205 Live, though. He's like, what, 195? I think he's a $195.
Yeah, but they're not that smart.
He can't be much over, too.
They're not going to, I don't know.
I'd give him time.
They put him right on Raw.
Think of the press. Think of the press you'd get for 205 Live. And it's always going to say WWE 205 Live, so you're still getting press for the main shows.
Who's waiting for the storyline of Conor McGregor versus John Cena at WrestleMania? Oh.
I want to see McGregor Brock.
Yeah, well, that's gotta happen.
In pro wrestling, you could make it a good match. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where in UFC, it would never be a good match. Brock is murdering him. But in pro wrestling, you could make it a good match. I think. Maybe not, but I think. So, like we said, this is rumor, but we got more on this rumor. We got stuff to back this up. It's not just, oh, we heard this and this and this, and we seen the pay-per-view. Pasty, if you want to start getting some pictures ready, we're gonna bring up some topics coming up here. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, let's shoot.
So the Young Bucks actually tweeted Neville a picture of a Bullet Club shirt, implying, hey man, you want to join the Bullet Club? We're here, man. We're here for you. It's cool. And Marty Scurll followed the fun on Twitter, tweeting Neville saying, hey, I still need a New Japan Pro Wrestling junior tag team partner. Because for those of you who don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, they have a juniors tag division, which would be your cruiserweight tag division. But in New Japan, cruiserweight is actually like, it's lauded, it's applauded, and it's heralded. It's not like looked at something bad. In fact, last year, they had a Best of the Super Juniors tournament, and I think the match on there was the most talked about wrestling match of the time, and that was Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. And I think that got more news coverage than anything else, and that's their cruiserweight division. They're called juniors. To me, cruiserweight sounds better than juniors. Yeah. Junior just sounds like you're degrading somebody. But that's our English translation to it, and I'm sure in Japan it's something badass. You know what I mean? It's like... Tiger-like. They're not big like ape. They're tiger-like. I don't know. Japanese have ways of making shit fucking seem cool. That's just how they do shit, man. Watch an anime sometime and watch the Japanese dub, or I mean the Japanese subtitles. And then watch it back the English dub, and you lose a lot. It's like the Jap subs. Way to go. Are we ready on the picks?
Yeah, we are.
All right, so another thing that's actually a big fucking deal. So
Yes.
apparently there was heat. There was heat on Neville, and this might be one of the. No. Sorry, I'm mixing my stories up, Loke. I'm mixing my Jimmy Jacobs story up with my Neville stories.
Yes, you are, sir.
Which picks do you have ready? The Jimmy Jacobs one?
Yeah, you didn't send me the Neville one.
I didn't have any for Neville.
Well, there you go.
I was mixing
Don't ask
stories.
questions,
Folks,
then.
this happens. We're live. This happens. You got to deal with it. I'm sorry. I'm getting all excited and I'm trying to push everything together. I don't even know where I am on my list. I'm not even looking at my list. That's my problem. But it is the next thing on the list. Although I'll get back to that other thing. So another person who seems to be gone from WWE is another indie darling, and it's Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs has been in the pro wrestling world for 15, 20 years now. He was huge in Ring of Honor. In fact, before he was released on our Beef Sticks podcast Facebook page, we actually posted a picture that Seth Rollins posted on his Twitter account. It was a picture from 2007 of Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black at the time. That was his name in Ring of Honor together. And then they reposted a picture from 2017 of Jimmy Jacobs and Seth Rollins in the exact same poses. And it's funny, it's hilarious, it's heartwarming, it's cute, whatever. I didn't even know Jimmy Jacobs was getting fired at the time. I don't think Seth did either. But apparently Jimmy Jacobs got let go. To give you some more backstory, Jimmy has been a writer in WWE since 2015. Among a lot of other things, he actually came up with the list of Jericho. That comes from Chris Jericho himself. Jimmy Jacobs was the guy that came up with that. One of the biggest gimmicks of last year. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
He came up with the list of Jericho, and he was also in charge of the Goldberg storyline last year, which was a huge storyline, and I know he wrote most of Goldberg's promos. A lot of those promos weren't great, but folks, don't hold Jimmy accountable for that. Goldberg still has to say the shit. And when he's busting his head on doors and getting a concussion beforehand, he's fucking up a lot of people's work. So hold that against Jimmy. But he's been on the writing team for quite a while. A lot of people, everybody seems to love him. He's got a good, he's got a mind for the wrestling business. He was let go. Now, the reason for it has not been officially stated, but there was major heat on him. This is where I was fucking talking about Neville, but it's actually Jimmy, and I got my damn wires crossed, and we're getting back into here. He actually posted an image on Twitter of him with some of his friends.
Yes. Good friends.
Not a big deal. His friends were from a different wrestling organization. Again, not a big deal. But the picture he took happened to be at the time that these friends were invading WWE Raw. For those of you who listened to us last week, you heard about the Bullet Club invasion. So the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, Page, Adam Page, they all invaded WWE. They came there. They wanted to get the umbrella back that Gallagher stole from Marty Scurll. They wanted to get Cody's last name back. They wanted Rhodes. They wanted to get Hangman Page revenge because he was kidnapped by a goon. And they wanted to get the Suck It back for the Young Bucks. So Jimmy Jacobs has been friends with them forever, going back to the Ring of Honor times. And he took a picture with all of them. They were there. They said their hellos. He took a picture with them. He posted it on social media. I'll agree. Hindsight being 2020, probably not the best idea, considering how we know Vince McMahon is pretty fucking petty, even though people say he's not. I mean,
if you look at the picture and you look at Jimmy Jacobs' eyes, he was clearly trying to take a picture of the grandfather walking behind him, and the Bullet Club just happened to jump in the picture. That's all that happened. Look at the look of concern on his face.
They totally photobombed. I agree with you. It's he's the victim here. He's the victim. So you can see the picture there. That's the picture that we're talking about. So that adds a little credibility to the story. You could see why Vince McMahon and or WWE Entertainment as an entity would be upset about that. Especially considering what we talked about, how shortly after that the Bucks got a cease and desist order from using the Turkish Wolf, and it seems like they were really upset about the invasion angle. But this goes a step further. We got even more reason to believe this is very legitimate. Jimmy Jacobs has opened his own store at Pro Wrestling Tees. Now, WWE wrestlers do not go through Pro Wrestling Tees, which is the largest pro wrestling merchandise store outside of WWEshop.com.
Outside of PolyShore.com.
Most WWE personalities will go through WWEshop.com. He opened up a store on Pro Wrestling Tees, and his first offering features the photo in question, on the front page of a newspaper with the headline, "Unprofessional," which you'll be seeing right now.
The headline on this shirt, or the sub-headline on this shirt, is priceless as well. The Zombie Princess to make anticipated return? In reference to Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail's storyline going on right now. It's so great. The rest of the shirt reads, "The world of pro wrestling was turned upside down when this photo was recently released via social media. The photo in question depicts former wrestler turned writer Jimmy Jacobs, age 33, with members of the infamous independent wrestling faction known as Bullet Club. Jacobs was spotted outside of Citizens Bank Arena late Monday afternoon for fraternizing with wrestlers that are currently signed to a different wrestling promotion," continued on page A5. And the caption on the picture says, "Jimmy Jacobs, seen with the band of hooligans outside Citizens Bank Arena, Ontario, Canada." It's great. I love that they make a jab at the Bray Wyatt sister Abigail angle. It is beautiful.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, by the way, the Zombie Princess was his gimmick, and he was awesome in it. And I always thought they needed to bring him into WWE with that gimmick.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail. Now I sound like an idiot.
Oh, no. He was he used to go around in like a skirt and goth clothing and all that. He didn't paint his face or nothing like that, but he was the Zombie Princess back then. Some great matches with CM Punk back in the day. Jimmy Rave. Samoa Joe. He was huge in it. Well, no, he wasn't huge in Ring of Honor, but he was always an upper mid-card guy in Ring of Honor. But it does play into the whole Sister Abigail thing also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to escape on you. I got issues floating. Floating issues. Floating issues, brother. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. It's the madness. Freak out. Yeah.
How much acid do you think he ate?
I don't know about the acid, man, but the cocaine had to have been flowing aplenty. Just had to have been flowing aplenty.
I don't know. Some of those gimmicks, though, the ones that got intergalactic, a lot of like Warriors gimmicks, too. I'm like, they must have had some good L.
Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, was he always just fucked up? Like it didn't even have to do with the drugs? Or was it all the drugs that turned him that fucked up years later?
Right.
Because I'm still not going to suck the dick of his ghost, man. The Warrior was not a great person and had a lot of issues. Huge part of my childhood.
He wasn't that great.
And I loved a lot of his matches. No, he was a horrible wrestler. I did love him versus Hulk Hogan. The IC title versus the World Heavyweight title was awesome. Him versus Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania was awesome. He had some really good matches. One of my favorite feuds back then was him and Papa Shango. mainly because I loved Papa Shango so much. But then I was always a Warrior fan, and Papa Shango made him throw up with a voodoo curse. He got sick and blah, 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 and it was like, that's always one of my favorite 80s wrestling memories, Papa Shango putting the curse on the Warrior and Warrior throwing up everywhere. But yeah, I'm not going to suck the dick of his ghost, man. He was not a great person. He's not a great wrestler. And whether the drugs did it or he's just born that way, the motherfucker had mental problems. Just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there.
Put it right out there.
Sorry.
He clearly did. He clearly did.
Clearly did. Despite how many awards they want to fucking give him and other people in his name.
Despite how many award-winning podcast hosts named after his love of Slim Jims.
We still talking about Warrior? Or we talking about Macho Man?
Macho. Well, we're talking about both of them.
Well, I don't think Macho had mental problems. He might have had I think he had drug problems. I don't think he had mental problems. I think he was a down-to-earth, well-thought-out guy. Misstep on the rap album. That was a misstep.
I love that album.
But he wanted to call out Hulk Hogan one way or the other, and he did it. That was his medium of choice. He wasn't wrestling anymore. Might as well put out a rap album. Oh, one last thing of news that I want to get to before, I don't even know if we've fucking decided on a Jerry of the Week.
It's a tough call.
We honestly thought we were more prepared than we actually were. Fucking surprise on us. No, this is another big thing, and it goes into, it's a great time right now to be a wrestling fan. You got New Japan Pro Wrestling, you got Ring of Honor. Quick plug real quick. Ring of Honor's Global Wars pay-per-view is this Sunday. Check it out. It's going to be great. I recently found out, and I'm going to check it out on my smart TV, because I think I might actually have it on my smart TV. But I believe it's called Fight TV app. I believe it is Fight TV app. If you have the Fight TV app, this is going to be aired free on that app. And that app is a free app. It's not like the WWE Network or nothing.
Okay.
So if you want to watch
this, it's not very free if you have to pay for the app.
And you got an iPad, or if you can cast to your TV from your device or something, get the Fight TV app. Watch Global Wars Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I also found out apparently they air Ring of Honor's weekly show the hour before Monday Night Raw. So 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, which would be 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And then the rest of y'all can just convert to your own time. Ring of Honor is on that Fight TV app for an hour. They have an hour-long show. I believe I have Fight TV on my my smart TV, so I'm going to look that up. If I do, I'm going to start catching the weekly Ring of Honor shows. But I am going to check out this Global Wars pay-per-view, and I suggest everybody else does it too. Ring of Honor, with the more WWE takes from them, and by that I mean their wrestlers, the more they seem to step up, and they're adding better storylines. And, of course, the in-ring action is always fucking amazing. And now is kind of a unique time for Ring of Honor, because not only do they have the up-and-coming young guys, and not only do they have the working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which gives them the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega also, but they have veterans there right now, like they have Bully Ray, who is Bubba Ray in WWE. They got your Christopher Daniels, who's been there forever, and they have your Frankie Kazarians, who have been there forever, the Briscoes, who have been there forever. So it's a nice little mix of the up-and-coming new guys who will probably get signed to WWE in a few years, and some veterans that are just holding down the fucking fort. My quick plug there, but that ties into this, because, again, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan with all the options you have, and you don't have to be married to WWE. Billy Corgan actually had an interview on the Busted Open show on Sirius XM Radio. And he had a few updates on the NWA. If you've been listening to the Beef Sticks podcast for a while, or if you just follow pro wrestling news, quite a while ago, Billy Corgan purchased the rights to the NWA name and licensing. He didn't get the media library, so he doesn't have the old NWA shows, but he owns NWA as it is currently now. So a few key points in his interview. He said that he intends to sign talent to contracts, but he understands that he needs to invest considerable money if he wants established stars. But he also sees talent development as a long-term initiative. That's the thing that Ring of Honor and TNA in its infancy were huge on, and WCW lacked, and that's what killed WCW. You want to get some established stars to get people watching your program, but you have to invest in the developing up-and-coming stars because they're your future. And he seems to be down with that. He also said, having learned from his time in TNA, he plans to execute his own vision for what pro wrestling should be in 2018 without, in his words, 7 different layers of politics. And we've all heard about the horrible politics stories in TNA. Everybody on the roster needs a direction, he says, or they will grow unhappy and go elsewhere, which we have seen from TNA especially, but also other ones. The last thing of note, he says he recognizes the wrestling fan base is aging, which a lot of them are in their 40s and 50s. So for once, somebody's made me feel young. Fucking thank you, Billy. I love you, Billy. I feel like a young man now. But he says he believes that the key to long-term growth is targeting the younger demographic. Especially the NWA. You don't have a lot of fucking 18 to 25-year-olds excited about watching the NWA or even the NWA name. I would argue at the most 50% of those people even know what the NWA is. At the most. I think most of them assume it's Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella, and Dr. Dre. So yeah, I would agree with that. I hope he does something with the NWA. I'm a huge old school NWA fan, but I'm a big fan of anything that just adds, anything that gives wrestlers another place to go, gives them a job, and gives fans something different and something else to watch.
Right. That's good, man. We're in a good time, and a lot of these independent companies or other promotions are making WWE work better as a company. They have to. And that's what we need. As fans of WWE, I mean, in general, we need the competition to make for the better shows. So
yeah, as fans in general. And you know what? One could argue, if it wasn't for Ring of Honor and New Japan getting the talk that they've been getting and getting the press they've been getting and all of that, you wouldn't have AJ Styles in the position he is. You wouldn't have Samoa Joe in the position he is. You wouldn't have Bobby Roode in the position he is. Because if you look back even 10 years ago, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were struggling to even be seen in the main event.
Yeah.
Struggling. And now your main event consists of a lot of them. You know, your big name players consist of a lot of them. Yes, the main titles are on Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal, which are 2 big, bulky dudes. But you still feel like AJ's important. You feel like Samoa Joe's important. You feel like Bobby Roode's important. You feel like these guys are important.
And it's good. They don't have to be important because of a championship. They can be important because they are who they are. And that's been kind of a missing thing in wrestling for a lot of years. And yeah, we wouldn't have those people. Because if they never would have started looking at things like Ring of Honor and New Japan for bringing in new talent, Vince would just keep building his own from the ground up.
We would get more Enzos and Roman Reigns.
You know, and I kind of almost
the
have
guys
to question,
that they built.
You know, Vince was always like, I'm not going to sign somebody else's creation. And now that he has, do you think the titles are on Brock and Jinder as like, you guys are here, but I still don't like you that much?
I'd almost say completely yes. I think that's a huge part of it. I think that is a huge part of it. I don't think he likes accepting that somebody else's creation is better than his. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it, actually. Yeah.
I've never really thought about it until we get on this spiel of things, but that definitely,
in fact,
that goes into our fashion files. We have our own special fashion files called
Fashion Files.
We'll just file that away in the old beer box.
The old beer box.
The old ale crate. But yeah, well, that's.
I don't know if I'm supposed to go somewhere with that or what.
No, not really. Just more so Vince and his place of power can't stand
huge. It. No, I agree. I think he is.
But he let Kevin Owens headbutt him, wrong. And so he's not spiteful about it. He's like, you guys can be great, just be great, but you can't have these titles.
One thing we've learned about Vince over time is that the bottom line is money.
Yeah.
If he can make money off you, he's going to use you. He brought in Bruno Sammartino. He brought in Bret Hart. He brought in the Warrior. He's brought in everybody who you would say, no, Vince won't bring that guy in. He brought in Eric Bischoff. He's brought in everybody. And I think that what we've learned is money is the most important thing. So he has put the title on Brock, who I would argue is actually money, but let's just go with this argument real quick. But he's not on TV all the time, but you're seeing Kevin Owens in a prominent position.
Right.
Because Vince knows I can make money off of Kevin Owens. I didn't create him. I don't want him to be my flag bearer, but I know he's money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I give him credit for that. As a businessman, I think that is usually his bottom line. I do believe the man is super petty and does some super petty things, but I also think that he's willing to put his pettiness aside when it means big money for himself.
Yes.
But
he's not going to give you the title.
Him a smart businessman. Well, that just makes him a smart businessman, I guess. I don't own my own fucking business. I fear I'd probably be very much like Vince McMahon, and I'd put my wants above the wants of my consumers. I'm very egotistical like that. I really am. I think I'd be that way. So I'm a confident motherfucker. That's who I am. I feel like I'd be like that. So we bounced around a few ideas for Jerry of the Week. Do we think we skipped Jerry of the Week because nobody was
I do think
that
so.
bad to be considered a Jerry?
People need to step up to the plate and try a little harder.
Yeah,
we can't give out this thing to anyone.
I think it's beautiful that in the wrestling community we can't even find a Jerry this week. That's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a positive. That means people are doing the right thing. There were a couple that we thought about, but it was mainly because we were grasping at straws. It's like, well, we didn't like this, so we could say it's Jerry of the Week. But to me, they weren't Jerry-worthy negatives.
Right. A Jerry-worthy moment has to be big and bold and stupid.
We have to keep the integrity of our Jerry of the Week. Or in integrity. Unintegrity? Disintegrity? What's the word? Any English majors listening to this show right now, what is the word Fat Mac is looking for? The opposite of integrity. Is it disintegrity, unintegrity, inintegrity? Or is it a different word altogether? Like dumb fuck or good fuck or whatever. Let us know.
Let us know in the live stream comments. Join the show.
So that's
Get
good.
A shout out.
That gives us. Yes, we will definitely shout. And I'm out. I'm out of the closet. Fully homo right here. I will eat pussy though. I mean, for free. If you come to my door and say, "Hey, will you lick my pussy?" I mean, as long as there ain't no bugs on them nuts, I'm down. As long as she ain't got a haunted netting. That gives us plenty of time to talk about Hell in a Cell and maybe even discuss some Raw and SmackDown or whatever the fuck else we want.
Corruption is the opposite of integrity.
Yeah, but I wanted a word that incorporated integrity in there somewhere. Integrity. I'm all about corruption, baby. Corrupt the Kingpin. One of the best rappers alive, baby. So let's get into our Hell in a Cell review. Pasty.
Yes, Hell in a Cell.
I did the honors of color coding our thing. Yellow is who I predicted would win. Blue is who you predicted would win, and green was us.
Because when you mix yellow and blue, you get green.
You're a fucking genius, dude. I mean, you belong in Harvard teaching a class. That's all I gotta say, and that's all I'm going to say.
Then say no more, Fat Mac. Man, this Hell in a Cell. I can't even remember the last time I've seen a Hell in a Cell this good.
And going back to what we originally what we talked about last week, at least they actually made both Hell in a Cell matches worthy of a Hell in a Cell. They built them up to where it was like, okay, I understand that this is blowing off a big feud. Where a lot of years it's just, let's just throw them together because it's October, so you have a Hell in a Cell match for no reason. And to me, that's stupid. It just devalues Hell in a Cell. Yeah. I still think having it once a year devalues it. And this year we had at least 3 this year. We had 1 at WrestleMania and 2 at Hell in a Cell, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that does devalue it a lot. But I would say all 3 of those, especially the 2 here, were big blow-offs to storylines that needed conclusions.
Very worthy.
The WrestleMania one, they fucked up by making it a what was it? Shane. If Shane wins, he gets control.
Yep.
Of SmackDown, and then he lost, and Vince was like, "Yeah, but you still get it because we didn't fucking think much farther than this." That took a lot away from it. That took a lot away from it. The fucking stipulation was he doesn't get to run it if he loses. He lost, and they gave it to him. That took a lot.
That's the definition of nepotism right there, folks.
Yeah. I went from being fucking... I don't want to bring this back up because this isn't what we're talking about. So, is it important? What?
Oh, can we use internet or take it for your...
What does that mean?
Like, you don't take internet, I think we're going to go on that. Is it still on there or no?
It's not in there.
Okay, maybe.
Okay. Sorry, folks. I got floaters around here. Sorry, I'm gonna float. And that's good because it got me off of my fucking soapbox that I was preaching on. You run us down, Pasty, and then let's talk about what we got and who voted for what and why we think what was where.
All right. So in the pre-show, we had Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeating the Hype Bros.
If you ain't hype, you ain't a bro.
And I didn't pay too much attention. As soon as we went into it, I'm like, I picked Hype Bros. Why am I so wrong? But it was too late to change my decision.
I didn't even watch it, to be honest. I didn't even see it. I don't remember what I was doing, but I wasn't watching that. I will say, even though I was right about the new American Alpha winning, I was wrong about this being the kind of payoff of the Hype Brothers splitting, because not only did they not split at the pay-per-view, but they didn't split at SmackDown either. Although they did take the pin at SmackDown, so again, that might be part of them doing it. But I will say I was wrong about that. I thought this was where they were going to split up. and they haven't.
No.
I was wrong about that.
It'll happen.
Right about who won, but
they're just going to drag it out like people care. That's what they're going to do.
You know, I honestly think they just don't know what they're going to do with either one of them after they split them up. So they're like, we know we're splitting them up, so let's just keep it in the air.
Trade them to get Neville back.
Pull the trigger.
Fire the two of them and bring Neville to the main roster. Boom.
I'd be more than okay with that. More than okay.
Zack Ryder could be an announcer. I'd rather see him than most of the announcers on the table. I like his personality, you know, and he's cool to look at.
Yeah, he could possibly be a good announcer. We haven't seen it yet, but he knows how to talk.
Right.
He definitely knows how to talk.
Yeah.
And he knows how to keep you engaged, so I could see that. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about this because I did not watch it. I don't even know how they won.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I do know how they won. It was with their new or not, maybe not new, but they modernized a version of the Doomsday device. Which, for those of you who aren't old NWA fans, that was
wasn't that
the
a neck
Road
breaker
Warriors that was their
shoulders? No,
it was like a bulldog. It was a bulldog off of the shoulders. Yep.
Okay.
And it was the old Road Warriors finisher. So I don't know. I guess I haven't watched enough of them to know if it's the exact same thing as a Doomsday device or if it was similar, but I did hear that's how they won, so I'm gonna say that's how they won.
I'm just gonna point out right there.
I like the fact that
that's why they're not a great tag team. Gotta reuse old shit. No, you gotta be like the Usos and New Day. Do shit nobody's seen.
Which fucking way to open a show and at the bar. I'm sorry, Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah.
But these motherfuckers set the bar.
Holy shit. I was so pissed to see that the cell was down when the show started. I was very not happy for that.
So what do we got? I jumped ahead, but let's give the official what match did we have here?
This next match?
Or we don't know. This was a Hell in a Cell match for
the SmackDown
tag team titles. It was the New Day defending their champions against the Usos, and the two guys representing the three New Day were Xavier Woods and Big E, the two that I said I hope got in there.
You got the bonus points there. You definitely did.
Oh, I'm happy because I felt they would have made the best team. I thought they were going to put Kofi in to do
multiple sets of bonus points on this fucking pay-per-view. I was kind of pissed.
And but it still didn't feel boring and predictable.
Right.
If that makes sense. Even though I think I picked some of the things out, it still didn't feel boring and predictable. I said I wanted Xavier and Big E, but I thought it was going to be Kofi and Big E. So This was a surprise. This wasn't predictable.
And Xavier's really coming into his own lately, too, in the ring. I don't think he's ever been as great as he is right now. He's always been good, but he's been better as a mouthpiece.
See, I agree with an asterisk. I think he's always been this good and WWE hasn't seen it, or Vince hasn't seen it, or whoever hasn't seen it. And they're actually letting him show it lately. Go back and watch old TNA matches with Consequences Creed, which is who he was his name back then.
Mm-hmm.
He put on show stealers all the fucking time. Watch his X Division matches. Watch his tag team matches. What was it? He had okay. So I'm spacing off on who his tag team partner was and what they were back then. But that was an awesome tag team. Just believe me. But go ahead, tell me your thoughts on this. There's so much to talk about in this match alone.
Oh my god. Like I said, when the cage came down, or when the cage was down when the camera panned on it, I was pissed. I didn't want to see this match as the first match of the pay-per-view. But then it started, and it wasn't very long till I realized why they did it. Holy shit, was this a match. It was more of a hardcore match than a Hell in a Cell match, but they used the cell perfectly.
Yeah, they used it less than the main event, but I think they had a better
That was good.
I think they had a better match.
Yes.
The first match.
More entertaining.
But they left a lot open to where they didn't step on the main event's toes.
Yeah.
Which is even more delicate to do. It takes even more skill, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, they were both in a Hell in a Cell, but they both felt worlds apart.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yes. I loved the choice of weapons. How right away the Usos went for regular weapons and New Day went for a chain and a candy cane kendo stick. Or not a candy cane.
It was a rainbow kendo stick.
Yes.
Are we going to talk about that they introduced 2 new Francescas?
Oh my god. That was insane.
I don't remember. Them. The second one was named Francesca 3. Do you remember what the first one was named? It was Francesca something, and I don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
They were two completely different, and by completely different, I mean just painted different, trombones. But they brought them both in, and I thought that was awesome. I'll let you keep going, and I'll just tack on my opinions as you go.
Oh man,
I keep stepping on your toes. I apologize.
It's okay. I don't care. We're here to talk. I don't care who does the talking. That gives me more time for drinking. But yeah, no, busted up those trombones. And at first I was kind of halfway paying attention. I was doing something. And I was like, holy shit, did they just break Francesca too? No, they wouldn't do that.
No.
And then they brought in the cowbell, and I was completely sold. No, I don't think so, because you knew I was watching behind.
I sent a couple people a thing, because I thought it was like, it wasn't.
Oh, no,
so
you
much
did, yeah, you said when you get there, you'll know.
Did I? Yeah, I sent the Christopher Walken gift. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. It's like, yeah, and I honestly think they had to have been thinking about that when they put that in there.
You don't think about cowbell without Christopher Walken.
No, but I really loved the fact that they used the kendo sticks. They put about, I think it was 4 kendo goofy come over to Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso throws Big E off, and then he goes to do he goes to sweep the feet of Xavier, who's on the apron, and Xavier does a cartwheel over the sweep, and then ends up getting hit again. Also, I forget exactly what happened, but it was so beautiful. Yes. How he was running across there, did the cartwheel over it. I mean, these 2 guys reminded you can still do something new with an old match concept. Yes.
Holy shit. And then when I thought that there was the end of like the penitentiary nod, and then the Usos pulled out the handcuffs, and I was like, holy shit,
right?
This is not gonna go good. But holy shit,
dude! For a second, I thought that somehow I had sat on the moat or something, and I had switched over to a rerun of Roots when they were just fucking whooping Xavier with those fucking canes.
They
when
missed
he was
out
handcuffed
on
to
a
the
very
turnbuckle.
Great opportunity to show us all those welts too. I was waiting to see him, and I never did. Not even on Raw.
I thought about that also. I was like, you know what, my nephew stopped over. And I don't remember why. Oh, he had left his pack back at my house, so he came to pick up his pack back, and I was watching it. And he had said something about how he's not a big fan of kendo sticks because they just don't really do anything. And it's like, to me, I think some people maybe don't understand. Everything in wrestling is gimmicked to hurt you the least possible. And I don't want anybody hurt. But it's the effect of, like, people see somebody getting hit with a steel chair and they automatically think that hurts worse than a kendo stick. I think of like the bed of spikes is the best thing I can use to describe this. When you lay on a bed of spikes, you can lay on a bed of spikes without being hurt. You can even have somebody stand on you. And the reason is that your surface area is dispersed. And so the pressure isn't in one spot, but is actually dispersed throughout the whole area of your body. So when you think of a chair shot, it hurts. But a chair shot takes up the whole of your back with the whole of the chair. Now condense that into one small cane and put it in one spot on your back.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason that to this day, some third world nations still use caning as a sentence to crimes.
Right. And this is 4 or 5 pieces of bamboo taped together, and they snap together when they hit. So not only are you getting the impact of the pole, but it's pinching your skin. And I think that makes it a lot worse too, especially since they actually do tend to hit with these things.
Right? And just to let you know that it hurts worse than a steel chair, you see a lot more steel chair shots in wrestling than kendo stick shots. There's a reason for that.
Seen a lot of kendo sticks in recent years, I'm going to say.
A little more. And hey, speaking of that, do you know how they started getting used in pro wrestling?
No, I don't. Wrestling fact.
Actually, it goes back to the mid-90s, and it can be traced back to probably ECW. My guess is maybe FMW started it. That was a Japanese promotion called Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, and they were known for doing some pretty taboo things. In fact, the Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk King of the Death match. Well, that old King of the Death match tournament took place in FMW, but Cactus Jack and Terry Funk were at the finals, and it was everything. But ECW made it popular in the United States, and this was when, Pasty, you might actually be a little too young to remember this, but there was a big, huge, worldwide explosion over the fact that an American college student was over in Singapore, and he had graffitied some property there. I believe he had spray painted a wall or something. And his punishment for that was 20 lashes with a cane.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he got punished. And in America, that was considered just, brutality and savage. We fine you $20. We don't give you 20 lashes with a cane. And so it became a big debate, and it was really popular at that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event was so world-shattering, Weird Al made a song about it. Or at least a verse in a song about it.
Which one? I love Weird Al. I should know.
Once there was this guy who took a trip to Singapore and brought along a spray paint.
Yes! You're right. Not the most famous ones, but it is actually a good one. Yeah, so it affected pop culture, it affected Weird Al, it affected pro wrestling. So we should talk about the winners. The Usos took the belts from the New Day. I believe you and I both voted New Day winning, correct?
Yes, we did. Pleasantly wrong. Very happy to be wrong. I was surprised
by this.
Either
one could have won, and I would have been happy.
Yeah. And even if you hate the Usos, you can't deny that it was well deserved. Holy shit, that was
right.
Even just looking at it as a tag team match, a classic. I mean, tornado tag, but tornado tags are my favorite, and they need to have more of them anyway.
Well, yeah, actually, I agree with you right there. Tornado tag is a stipulation that's not used enough. They throw around stipulations like fucking crazy nowadays. That tornado tag is not used enough.
Yeah, to the point where they have gimmick matches, and you gotta tag your partner in, and it's like, what? Like wasn't there cage matches or something along the lines? No, cage match was.
Oh yeah, there's just cage matches where you have to tag the person in. Yeah, it's just stupid. I will say, again, this whole string of matches, not just this one, but this whole string of this feud really makes you look at the Usos differently, though.
Yes.
I mean, look at the Usos 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they were kind of a one-note team.
Yeah,
and I didn't.
They won a lot,
I got bored.
But I got really dull to them too. I just didn't give a fuck. Take the titles off them, give them to somebody else because this is ridiculous. But now I'm like, greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah. Now I get a chubby every time I hear they're gonna have a match. I don't care if it's against the fucking hype bros. I still get a chubby. Yeah, these guys are definitely going into the Hall of Fame, and they've made their mark in at least the top 50 tag teams of all time. Definitely in the top 20 of the tag teams of the new era, whatever the new era might be. I don't know. I just made that up. But
I was definitely not very happy with the outcome on Raw or SmackDown. I knew it was justified, but I'm not ready to put it to rest. I'm of two minds. Number one, I could watch 8 more of these two guys, 8 more matches of these two teams going against it. But I think it is time to move on. And if they were going to put the tag titles on somebody else, I mean, I just stated last week, I'm not a big fan of automatic rematches. So New Day lost. They lost decisively. They lost in the Hell in a Cell, which they picked. Let the Usos move on. Right. No, it's good move. But I do hope we see more matches between them in the future.
Oh, we will. Oh, we will.
I'm really interested to see... Usos. I know they can't do it this year, but I'm really interested to see like a ladder match TLC with those two teams. Just those two teams, not 20 teams.
I agree. Just those two. I think they'd come up with some really creative stuff like they did with this in the Hell in a Cell. One thing about the Usos, though, I think, is they kind of got the Bella Twins thing where unless one is out on injury or leaves wrestling, I think they're always going to be a tag team. I can't see Jey Uso U.S. champion or Jimmy Uso IC champion. I don't see that. So I think
New Day could split up, and they could all do very well on their own. Except for
one day, New Day will split up, and that will be the day that Xavier Woods moves on to bigger and better things.
Do you think Xavier would be the one to turn on him?
I think that
how do you
that's
think
the way
that storyline would be? Do you think it would be a turn on him storyline?
Big E seems too obvious because he's the big brute.
Right.
I think it's easier to make him the sympathetic hero,
make him
the sympathetic babyface. Yeah, and then make Xavier Woods the evil dastardly heel who now has a series of matches against Big E and cheats to win every time because that's the only way he can beat Big E. You know what I mean? Until the final match where Big E whoops the shit out of him in like a Hell in a Cell or a Falls Count Anywhere or something match.
And I guess the real
a Francesca
on
a pole match.
Is Xavier Woods going to be the next Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Leaving from the team of this caliber, going on to have an amazing solo career. He's got the mic skills. Not the same as The Rock. I'm not saying compare him.
I believe Xavier could. I don't think the current WWE structure would allow him to. No.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
I would love it. I would love it. I think Xavier has the skills to do it. I don't think the current WWE structure would allow that. No. I wish he would. Because out of those three, Xavier is my guy. Big E has surprised me at how great he's gotten, especially on the mic. When he started out, he was not a fucking promo guy.
Right.
And I think being around Kofi and especially Xavier has helped him out a ton to just be himself. I think when he's just himself, fucking any of you guys watching or listening to us, go on your YouTube machine and punch in Good Mythical Morning, The New Day.
Yes.
and watch
God.
fucking Big E sell these fucking jelly-filled donuts. Impromptu, had no idea it was coming up. It's fucking awesome. I think he had the best fucking pitch of all of them, and they're all great. But Big E has turned into a really good promo, and he started out really rough.
Yeah, he started out never talking. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, because he was the muscle.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk with the muscle. So yeah, yeah, definitely Xavier could become the next Rock. I believe he has it in him. I don't think WWE has the faith in him.
Yeah, and the thing that makes me sad is like when they split Kofi, I feel like is left out of the picture entirely. Kofi's been good with the New Day, but he hasn't improved on anything.
No, and he's a veteran at this point. He's in his mid-30s or at least early 30s. He's has a high intensity repertoire, if you will. So his body's got to be catching up to him pretty soon. And you know what? I'm a big Kofi fan. He's never been great on the mic. I'll go out there and say Air Boom is one of my favorite tag teams of the decade, of the 2000s. I loved Air Boom. They'd probably be in my top 50 of all-time tag teams, but they're definitely in my top 10 of the 2000s tag teams. Do you remember Air Boom?
Yes. Yeah, they were entertaining. Kingston
and what did they call him? They called him Airborne. They called him Evan Airborne.
Yeah.
It's Matt Sydal. I don't remember what WWE called him. It's Matt Sydal, anyways.
Wasn't it Evan
that was
Bourne?
A great.
Pretty sure it was.
Was it Evan Airborne?
I don't think it was Evan Airborne. I think it was just Evan Bourne. And Airborne might have been his nickname.
The Airborne was his nickname. That's how they came up with Air Boom. I think so. I might be making that up.
I don't know words.
Talk about the next match here. I believe it's Rusev
Happy
and
birthday
Orton.
to Disco Inferno. Just thought I'd throw that one in
Disco. I don't have much to say about this, and I actually got to relieve myself real quick. I'll be back before you're done talking about it, but go ahead and speak of it. I don't have much to say about Orton.
There's nothing to speak of it. I was wrong. It's Karen Jarrett's birthday. Happy birthday to the bitch who broke Kurt Angle. I don't have nothing to say on it. I don't got nothing to say. Fat Mac's always getting up and running away. The Usos defeat the New Day. In a very good match, I would say. I hear squeaking and puppies and Fat Mac, and he's coming. And he's coming back. I need him to be back, because I hardly paid attention to this next match. Holy shit. Happy birthday, Karen Jarrett. Who knows? I know.
This is the Superfly boss. I watched half the video. Super hard. We have to review the video.
And now Randy Savage's Be a Man.
Whatever they call you, I'm coming after you, you coward. I think it damn hope played you and set it off. Set it off. Used to be hard hog, now you done turns off. Doing telephone commercials, I seen ya. Dancing and tight as a ballerina. I knew all along you had those tendencies. Cause you've been running from macho like I got a disease. Dude, please, your pay-per-view event was a joke. You're avoiding Randy Savage cause you know you can smoke. Come on, that phony fight the rock straight too fast. But what I tell
you look like you're having fun. Oh, I lost my.
I called him out.
What?
That's all right.
What'd you do?
I broke my whole backdrop, so people are just seeing my house now.
Great. Hope it's clean.
That's all right. Not really, but they're just seeing the fucking ceiling.
No, I didn't have too much to say about Karen and Jarrett's birthday, so I decided to play "Be a Man" by Macho Man Randy Savage for the folks. At least the folks watching on YouTube.
So I just gotta be honest, folks. I'll just let it out here. So my son has a couple tests that he has to do. We got to go to a medical center and we got to do some shit. So he's having his friend come along with him because he's never done this shit and he's kind of nervous and everything. So I got both these kids at my house tonight. So I just got two kids that are just kind of up and don't know what to do and everything's going on and everything. And so I'm bouncing back and forth and trying to take care of watching that and doing my stuff and all of that. So I apologize for my kind of scattered brain.
It's not due to his leaky rectum this week.
So I did have to piss, though. I will have to say that. That ain't a lie. I did have to piss. But I got other stuff going on, and I'm just trying to take care of it, and we're just going to work our way through it. You know what I mean? That's just life. You got life. You got to deal with it. You got kids going. No, I can't get my hair back to where it was, man. My hair was looking good for a while, and now it's
stressed out right now.
It's stressed out. Just fucking unicorn that shit.
Are you gonna get a Jerry curl?
I went curling with a Jerry one time. He's a Jerry, so he lost. I won. Curling's pretty easy. If you know how to fucking sweep a floor, you know how to fucking curl, baby.
Right.
So we talked about Rusev and Orton, correct?
No, I haven't. No, I'm not.
Okay, so we're done with that.
About this match.
Yep, we're done with that. Orton won. I think we both picked Rusev.
Yep.
Did we talk? Oh yeah, we all picked New. Okay, so we know where we're at. So what are we at for what we picked so far? We've picked all the same things so far, right?
No.
Are we both
you
three?
You picked Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. I picked the Hype Bros, so I'm down a point there. We were both wrong on the New Day, and we were both wrong on Rusev. So we're
not starting
we're
out
losers, good. Except for you. You have 1 point.
Now I will say.
No wait.
And this doesn't.
Did I say Orton? I'm blue. I must have said Randy Orton. If the page says it, it's true. We're tied up 1-1.
Okay, there you go. Now, I am going to say this, and it doesn't count because I stand by my word, and what I pick as of our Thursday show, when we pick these, we pick them. But when I heard that Ty Dillinger was getting put into the match for the U.S. Championship match, I honestly believed that Baron Corbin was going to win it after that, once I heard that.
Too late to change the picks, though.
Exactly. I picked AJ Styles. I'm standing behind AJ Styles. So this might be where I lose a lot of people. This might be where I upset a lot of you listening right now. I think, other than, you know what, the Sami Zayn ending was the best ending of the night. But if Sami Zayn hadn't popped up in that Hell in a Cell, I thought this was the best ending of the night.
Satisfying.
I loved the way this match ended. Number one, so go ahead. Tell the folks what happened, Pasty. Tell the folks what happened, Pasty.
A whole lot of things happened, Fat Mac. Why don't you tell them? You're better at recanting. Okay, I'm better at spotlighting.
So first of all, it was going to be Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles for the U.S. title, and Ty Dillinger argued that since he had beat AJ Styles a couple weeks ago, that he should be allowed to compete also, which makes sense. So Kurt Angle put him in this match.
Kurt Angle did not. Kurt Angle's on Raw. Daniel Bryan did. In a very obnoxious segment where 10 was introduced to Yes.
I didn't watch it. Wasn't that during the pre-show?
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch it. I didn't know.
They brought it back to it in the pay-per-view, so you had to have seen
it. I did. I seen it then, and that's how I knew that he was interjected into it. And that's when I seen that, I was like, Corbin's.
That's the universal symbol for 10. It's kind of like
Yes.
10.
10. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
10. Yes, 10. And then, yeah, I was just over that right away.
Yeah, I agree.
But
with
I do think that when Daniel Bryan's contract is about to expire, they're going to allow him to come back and tag team with Ty Dillinger. Prediction.
I don't think WWE's ever gonna let him wrestle in one of their rings again. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about what happened. So basically, and this was actually a decent match.
Yeah.
AJ Styles sold an awful lot for Baron Corbin, which is good. They were pushing Corbin, and then they stopped pushing him, and we didn't care about him.
Right. I would have picked him. I would have picked him if it wasn't for the results of the last few weeks or a couple of pay-per-views.
Right.
I was all behind Corbin.
They made it. You always have been. And I wasn't. And then I jumped on your bandwagon. And then I jumped off. And I jumped off at the wrong damn fucking moment.
Right.
Because it made him look strong in this match. They put him over.
They gave him a good sly heel or finish.
And this was a good match. At one point, AJ Styles gave Baron Corbin a hell of a fucking basement dropkick. Baron Corbin was outside of the ring, and AJ Styles was in the ring. He bounced back to the opposite side, came back, and did a drop kick between the second and bottom rope, and just fucking sent Corbin fucking flying. Like, this had to have hurt Corbin. It was a sick drop kick. I loved it. I will say I don't think this did much for Ty Dillinger. I don't have any memories
other than
of Ty Dillinger in this match. Yeah, like nothing really stands out to me. But AJ got some good stuff in. Corbin got some good stuff in. What ended up happening was AJ had Dillinger in the calf crusher. He ended up hitting a 450 splash to Corbin. And then he ended up hitting a 450 splash to Dillinger, I'm sorry. But then Corbin came and booted the shit out of AJ. And this looked like a hard hit. Like he hit him for real. Sent AJ flying out of the ring. AJ landed. AJ really was selling this match because he sold this fucking kick.
Yes.
And Baron Corbin picked the bones of AJ's kill like a perfect heel should.
Mm-hmm.
This played out exactly I think the way they wanted it to play out.
Did you
AJ
watch Talking Smack afterwards?
Strong. I did, and I know both Corbin and AJ were on there. Juice your knowledge into our glass of goodness.
Corbin was on. I think if he was on, it was right away in the beginning while I was still kind of like, what am I gonna do? And I decided to watch it. I watched it mostly to see results from the New Day Usos and the main event opens. Maybe Sami Zayn was gonna be on, but I did catch AJ Styles came on and he was just pissed about it all. Pissed that it was a triple threat and he didn't even lose his title. Pissed that Baron Corbin took his win from him and that he wasn't going to wait for a rematch. He wasn't going to wait. He was going to have it on SmackDown and he was taking his championship back. And I'm going to go here just because I don't feel like we're going to maybe get all the way to SmackDown. But AJ Styles didn't take his championship back.
Speak. No.
He had Corbin in a calf crusher, and Corbin had the perfect shutdown for the calf crusher. That was so great. I loved seeing that.
It was beautiful how he rolled through that, wasn't it?
He didn't roll through it. He pushed him
It was awesome.
Before AJ could sit up and pull in, he pushed AJ down and slammed his head off the mat.
Well, he didn't even push. He slammed him with his forearm.
Yeah.
Like basically just slammed his head into the mat. Like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
Yep. And
It was good for the Baron Corbin character. At one point during this match, I thought they botched a move, and God, I think it was maybe against Ty Dillinger. AJ springboarded from the outside, and I wasn't sure what they were going for, and it looked like they botched it, but then they replayed it, and actually AJ hit a beautiful, phenomenal forearm from the outside onto Ty Dillinger. So I just want to put that out there. I honestly thought that he botched it, but it actually, on replay, it looked beautifully done. So I was impressed with this match. I liked this match. And as soon as they made it a triple threat, I thought I'd like it even less. But I liked this match. I'm sorry, people. For all these people hating on Hell in a Cell, I liked it.
It was definitely worthy to be on this pay-per-view. And that's what I liked most about this pay-per-view. Like, even the matches that weren't a Hell in a Cell match felt like Hell in a Cell caliber matches. Most of them, anyway.
The undercards were strong. Yeah, I agree. I think the undercards are strong. Which brings us to the next match, which is also a title match. It is a SmackDown Women's title match. Natalya, who is the champion going in, versus Charlotte Flair. What'd you think, Pasty?
Was a pretty good match. And you totally got bonus points on this one, too. I think every time you laid a bonus coin down, I think you got the points for it. You said Charlotte Flair wins.
What was my bonus on this one?
You said Natalya won by DQ.
Oh.
That was your call.
Yep. You're right.
You said if Natalya wins it, and I said that. I figured Natalya would win. But yeah, definitely. And Charlotte Flair did win by disqualification.
Was after you said something. You said something that triggered that in me. So you brought that out. I'll give you that. and I stand by that. I think that Survivor Series is a better platform for Charlotte to win the title on. Yeah. This, I think, really points out the difference between my era of wrestling fan and today's era of wrestling fan, because this is the match I have heard the most complaining about for it just being boring. And I've heard that from almost every review I've seen or read of Hell in a Cell, is this match is boring, this match is boring, this match is boring. The first 10 minutes of this match, I was fucking glued to the TV. It was a complete shoot wrestling match.
Yes.
It was hold, counter hold, catch as catch can, fucking just working over different limbs. Reversing it to work over other limbs. I loved the shit out of it. And everybody thought it was boring.
You know, and I think you're right there. It does kind of draw the line in the sand between modern day fans and the classic fans, because I was kind of bored with it too until I really sat there and I'm like, you know, this is the daughter of Ric Flair and the niece of Bret Hart. And then it all clicked.
They were literally painting a picture.
Yes. Like, it was beautiful. It wasn't the best match, but it was definitely what it should have been.
And you know what? I stand behind, in my opinion, just mine. This doesn't mean this is what it is. In my opinion, this was the best match that did not take place in a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That's just me saying that. But I loved it. I really can't laud it enough. I just loved it. They worked over body parts, and they just it was classic. It's something you would have seen. It's something you would have seen at an old NWA Starrcade,
right? Between
Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes or somebody like that. I mean, it's just a very similar thing. And in the end, it worked also, like you said. I mean, the end worked because Natalya knew she was that. And to be fair, Charlotte Flair took most of the abuse.
Right.
I mean, she was just getting worked on her leg the whole match. And then finally, Natalya used a chair on her, which, okay, so I'm going to say this. It goes back to continuity, WWE. So last month, we had No Mercy. And Braun Strowman is using the fucking steel steps left and right outside of the ring. People get thrown through the announce tables on the outside of the ring. People get thrown into the guardrails or on the guardrails on the outside of the ring, and it's never called.
Right.
Now for this match, Natalya uses a chair on the outside of the ring, and it's a disqualification.
Chair's always
Make
been
up
a
your fucking mind.
though. It's like if it's there naturally.
They're the fucking steel steps, Josh. The steel steps, Pasty. Come on.
They're not steel.
Braun
Everything
Strowman
is aluminum.
hit somebody with the steel steps.
That was a steel trash can in the main event.
But they gotta decide when you're on the outside, is it a DQ or is it a not to use a foreign object?
It's always been a DQ in WWE. An actual foreign object.
No, it's not.
Yes, unless the ref doesn't see it. It is not. Yes, it is.
Every time they go to the outside, they use the announce table, they use the guardrails, they use the steel steps, use the chairs.
In a 10-second time span. In a 10-second time span. You can't pick the stairs up and hit somebody with them. You can't pick the stairs up and hit somebody with them. You can't pick the table up and hit somebody with it. You can't pick the barricade up and hit somebody with it. It's props. It's there.
Braun Strowman
shit happens.
The steel stairs up and hit him in the head with it.
Not during a match.
Yes, during the fucking match.
Then it was a no disqualification match.
Into the ring.
No.
He threw it, and no, it wasn't. He threw him into the ring, and then he powered slammed onto the steel steps in the ring, and then he was disqualified.
I think you're wrong. He didn't hit nobody with
those stairs. No, go back and watch.
He didn't hit nobody with those stairs.
He did. He picked him up and hit him into his head.
He didn't.
And it happens every week. This next week on both Nitro.
Nobody's picking up the stairs
on both Raw and SmackDown
in a match.
On the outside
if it's not a match, yes.
During a match, yes. Every time they go outside during a match, they will pick up a foreign object and hit somebody with it, or they will hit them onto a foreign object.
They will throw them through a table. They'll smash their head off of stuff. They'll throw them into. No. No. You're wrong.
They will. They do it every single Raw and SmackDown.
And I think the 12 people who listen to this week will all agree with me.
They have every week, Pasty. No. Every single week.
No.
There's not been... You're going to tell me that last week they never went outside of the fucking ring and hit somebody on the steel steps or the guardrail?
Hit them onto it.
Or the announce table?
Not hit them with it.
That's a foreign object.
Not if they're colliding with it. If it's colliding with them.
If Triple H brings his if Triple H brings a sledgehammer into the ring and sets it up in the corner and throws somebody's head into it, it's not considered a disqualification?
No, it's not. If somebody takes the turnbuckle off and throws them into the turnbuckle, it is not a disqualification. If you set a chair up,
if the ref sees it.
If you set a chair up in the corner and throw somebody into it, it's not a disqualification.
Yes, that's a disqualification.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't.
In the ring, it is.
No, it isn't.
Every single match, it is.
Dude, it's canon in the show.
What are you watching?
And it's canon in the video games.
All right. Let's get past this because you and I are at a butt head. We're butting heads.
And I'm right.
So we're gonna agree to disagree.
It's backslash, motherfucker.
And we can go back and watch stuff later if we want, and that's fine. I thought good match. What do you think?
It was a good match. It was, I feel like even the matches that I wasn't so into were still good, and they still help to curve the arc of the pay-per-view.
And to prove you wrong, we have the next match.
It's the cool down.
Go ahead. Bring us into this one, Pasty.
The WWE World Title Championship match.
Which is not the main event.
No, not even close.
Shows you the faith they had both their champion and Shinsuke Nakamura, which is sad.
Yes. Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I did not get there yet. Jinder Mahal defending his championship as the World Supreme Maharaja.
Yes.
I still want to see him win without the Singh brothers getting involved. I mean, they don't do that much. They don't.
He did. This match, he won clean over Shinsuke Nakamura.
They still had gotten involved for a moment. They got involved long enough to get ejected.
They did get ejected, but I don't think they did anything that affected the match ever.
No. Well, they took Nakamura's attention off of Jinder. And I think that kind of shook him up for the rest of the match.
Yeah, but that wasn't when Shinsuke lost.
No, it wasn't.
He lost well after they were evicted. Right?
Yeah. But Shinsuke's not going to beat Jinder. Not now. Maybe in a year or so, but not now. Shinsuke needs to build himself up before he can be challenging. That's it. I mean, I get it.
They're building him down. He built himself up.
But they need him to talk. They need him to communicate and to convey emotion.
Tell Brock Lesnar that. Tell Brock Lesnar that.
Brock Lesnar's been selling.
Why? Why does he need to talk? Why can't he just have a mouthpiece?
Who are you going to give him? Funaki?
Anybody. He doesn't even need anybody. I think he sells himself just fine. He can say 3 words and make me want to watch his match more than Jinder Mahal talking for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'll agree there. I'm just saying, I don't know. Shinsuke should not be in the title contender now. He just came up.
I'll give you that. I personally feel he does belong there, but I see where you're saying.
I think he does too in time.
A long time guy,
and I think they're being fair by giving him the early shot. But now I think he needs to go back and start building something, just stories.
I will say I don't want a rematch. I think this should be done.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going from here. This was a boring match, and part of that has to go on Shinsuke.
Yeah.
The best wrestlers out there, they'll tell you, can carry anybody to a decent match, and I wouldn't call this a decent match. I was bored through the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. It was definitely one of those, I'm going to focus on other shit kind of moments.
I didn't expect Jinder to beat Nakamura clean without the Singh brothers. That surprised me. But
there you are.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, that's about it. There you are. It's sad that maybe the worst match of the night was the title match. I mean, I didn't watch the pre-show match, but other than that, I do want to say one thing here now. So we talked about how WWE is doing their tour of India, so weren't going to lose. They weren't going to take the title off of him. Where are we at, anyways? Because I picked Nakamura on this one. Where are we at so far for our picks?
Well,
I never did add up our picks. I don't know. I think you and I are pretty even. I think it's going to come down to 1 point maybe. Or we'll just tie.
We're still tied due to your bonus calls. Yes. You might be
don't count bonuses right now. Don't count bonuses. Just count wins and losses.
Well, then I'm up 1. Because I picked Jinder on this one.
Okay. Yep. So I do want to say this. So they're doing 2 weeks of touring in India. From everything I've read and seen, apparently it's only 2 weeks of touring. So there's 6 months invested into this motherfucker for 2 weeks of touring. If you're of the mind that this is why they're doing it. Maybe not. Maybe they really maybe they really see something in Jinder. I don't know. But set that aside. From the time that Jinder became champion to Hell in a Cell, WWE Network subscribers in the India market dropped by 15% by that time. So he's not fucking selling network subscriptions to India. I think even the people in India want entertainment.
Right.
No matter who it is, they want to be entertained. I think this is a failed fucking experiment, and I think Vince is just too pig-headed to admit that.
Right. He wants to wait to take it off.
I just wanted to state that.
And he wasn't going to give it to Shinsuke.
And I think, you know, there's two ways you can go about this. So the traditional knowledge says that John Cena will come back after filming his Transformers movie, which became a what did we call it? A Ninja Turtles movie or something? I don't remember what we called it. No, we called it what do we call it? I don't remember what movie we called it.
I don't remember.
Anyways, he'll come back from that. And then win the US or win the World Heavy or WWE World Championship, I guess it's called, from Jinder, because he's the conquering hero. That will put him one above Ric Flair, and he'll beat the record, and he'll be the standard bearer, which I'm not against that anyways. I'm not against that whole storyline. It's obvious and it's boring, but I'm okay with that. I think John Cena deserves somebody better to spar with vocally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jinder puts on great promos. So the promos between Jinder and Cena's going to be... Maybe. And that
Cena
could be
brought
good.
Something
Maybe
out of
he'll bring a
Reigns.
good
It
match
wasn't
out
much, but it was something.
Yeah. He failed horribly at sometimes, but then sometimes you've seen that little shimmer and shine that you were like, oh yeah, there's something there. So I agree with you. The other thing that you could see, maybe, AJ doesn't have the U.S. title anymore. Maybe he doesn't win it back. Maybe AJ wins the Royal Rumble. Maybe AJ comes in at 1 and becomes one of the few people to ever win the Royal Rumble at 1. He lasts an hour and a half in the Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, and takes on Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania? Maybe.
I tell you what, right now I'm not that excited for a match like that.
So what about this? Now here's your third option. What if they have another Shinsuke Nakamura match against Jinder Mahal after Survivor Series? Because we're pretty sure Survivor Series he's going to have a match with him and the Singh brothers and probably Rusev and whatever other foreign people they have. So maybe at Royal Rumble, Shinsuke Nakamura wins the title off of Jinder Mahal in a rematch, because maybe Shinsuke's involved in the Survivor Series match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he even pins Jinder. That doesn't mean he wins the title. That just means he eliminated him from the Survivor Series match. Then he wins the title at Royal Rumble, and you get AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, WrestleMania. We've seen it at Wrestle Kingdom 10 for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Intercontinental title. What if we fucking see it at WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight title?
I like that.
It would be a fucking that would be a match.
Hell yeah.
That would sell tickets. That would sell tickets. I don't care what Vince thinks. That would sell tickets.
It's funny because my mind kind of went a fourth way, and that's tying in this next match with the current one, and Bobby Roode challenges for the championship. But somehow Dolph Ziggler weasels his way into a triple threat and pulls it off in the end.
Against Jinder?
Yeah, against Jinder and Roode in a triple threat. Ziggler, Roode, and...
I would be okay with that. I would definitely be okay with that. Yeah,
I don't have
that would be a good match.
Backstory the way you do, but I think that'd be good.
No, I would love to see that match. I would love to see Roode as champion. No,
because
Roode is world
Styles
heavyweight
at Mania would be
championship.
really good too.
Yeah.
You don't sound nearly as excited for it.
I guess I've seen Roode Styles in TNA, and I've seen Shinsuke Styles in New Japan, and I liked Shinsuke Styles better than Roode Styles. But I think any of those pairings would be awesome. Roode Styles, Shinsuke Styles, Roode Shinsuke, any of those three, put them in a triple threat. I'd love it. They're going to bring the fucking house down. I mean, they all three of them just want to put on the very match. That's what they live for. Almost. So that brings us to Ziggler Bobby Roode.
Yes, which was actually a pretty good fight. I liked it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. If this is the it looks like they're continuing the feud. Maybe Ziggler isn't leaving WWE like we all thought, or like I thought.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's just gonna have one more match before his contract expires. I don't know.
Right.
They continued the storyline this Thursday.
Yes, they did. And like I said, I'm not happy about why come start your intro with your entrance music. Just come in with nothing the whole time. Make an actual statement by it.
I guess I think that's, well, I think two things. One, I think maybe they're trying to say that's the point. But two, I think WWE thinks you need something to tell people you're coming, so they have to start it and then cut it off.
He'd have
instead
so
of just
much
being
more
nothing.
the element
I
of
agree
surprise,
with you.
though, if they cut the lights
and
and he just came out. You know what I mean? Because he could interfere in matches that
Yeah.
way. Just cutting the lights, because you never know what's going to happen when the lights get cut.
I agree. I don't think he needs it, and I think it works better with his storyline right now if he had nothing. But I liked the match. I really liked the ending of this one also with the what was it, a triple roll through?
Yes.
First Roode rolled Ziggler through for a pin, a roll up pin, and then Ziggler rolled him through and used the tights, and then Roode rolled him through and Roode used the tights.
So much pale
which
man
adds something
ass.
to it.
So
that
much
gives
pale
them
man
something.
ass.
Yeah, man, I like some good pale man ass. I gotta have good pale man ass before I leave. And then so Bobby Roode won, but Ziggler hit him with the zigzag afterwards and put him out.
Fucking
it was
beautiful.
good. I thought it was short and it was simple.
I loved when he alluded to doing the sweet chin music. He's like, "Yeah, I'm taking it."
Right. And we talked about this a little bit last week, but they were given the piss break spot.
Yeah.
The spot between the big match and the main event match, which they used to give to the women, and then they gave it to 205 Live, and now they're giving it to Roode and Ziggler. So that kind of hurt me a little bit, because I thought, especially Roode, at least, we know what they think about Ziggler. I thought Roode deserved better than the piss break match.
Right.
But that's what they gave him. They gave him the piss break match. It was between the big match of the title match and the main event.
It was okay, though, because it did let all those other matches shine to where they needed to. I mean, Jinder Shinsuke could have been here.
It did, but I don't know how much you were paying attention to it, but the crowd didn't give a shit. The live audience were dead. Like half of them, I think, were taking a piss break, and the other half were tweeting about the world title match and getting ready for the next Hell in a Cell match.
Right.
Like, the fans didn't seem to give a shit about this match, and that's sad because I thought it was a good match.
I didn't hate it.
Which brings us to the main event.
Oh my good God. Falls Count Anywhere, Hell in a Cell. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. You couldn't have asked for a better Halloween gift.
Well, let me say this, first of all, and I'm going to let you speak because I talk too much as it is. They ended up taking a stupid fucking concept like Falls Count Anywhere, Hell in a Cell, and they made it a good match. They didn't need the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation, I don't think, other than maybe the ending.
Right. The only downside for me is I've waited this entire pay-per-view, and they never broke out a wall of the cell.
Oh, and oh my God, did not Ziggler, I almost called Shane Ziggler. Did Shane not have the damnedest time cutting that fucking lock off?
Right. I was
somebody
pissed.
was
I'm
sitting
like,
in
you're
the
gonna
back,
take
like,
the cheap way out and not even do well at it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Somebody's in the back like, fucking find a good sign to fucking move in on because we're not going to just watch him try to cut open his lock for 5 minutes.
Right.
He had a hard time using those.
It's a table,
cutters,
Becky Lynch. That's where I was in my mind.
So, as somebody who used bolt cutters to cut into locks, 9 times out of 10, and I would think Hell in a Cell should follow in this category, time is of the fucking essence.
Yeah.
I have never spent that much time trying to cut a fucking lock off with bolt cutters. I've done it twice in my professional life, and a couple times just fucking around with shit. And the twice that I've done it, it's like, you better do it and get it done or you're going to jail, motherfucker. And Shane would have been going to jail, motherfucker.
Right. Yeah, he did not seem to know what he was doing, and he was getting upset. But I mean, the rest of the match was really good.
But didn't take anything away. I mean, that moment did take a lot away from the match. It kind of it deflated it.
Yeah.
But I'm not kidding. It fucking reinflated immediately. It was like, oh shit, yeah,
man. And then when they went up top, I thought for sure we were gonna get that pinfall on the top that you said you didn't want to get.
Right. I was waiting for that.
That was the most amazing. Was
right in the ring, right below them.
Right. That was the most amazing cage top battle I think I've seen, where somebody didn't get thrown off. I wanted to see the power bomb through the top.
See, I think it lasted too long. I think they spent too much time up there. No, there's two different minds going through the internet right now, and I'll tell you the two, and I'll tell you what I think. So the first of the minds is that it's gimmicked. So it was supposed to bust open and somebody fall through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, actually both explanations take this into account, but they only spent time on 2 sections of the Hell in a Cell. This section and this section. They only spent time in 2 sections.
So there's a lot of people who said it was gimmicked to bust open. And for those of you who don't know wrestling terminology, gimmicked means it was just worked over or made to do something. If something's gimmicked, it's supposed to do something. A gimmicked beer bottle is sugar glass.
It's made to break. It's not a real beer bottle. You know what I mean? So some people say it was gimmicked and was supposed to break, and that's why you had multiple back body drops. You had pop-up power bombs. You had all of this on it, and it just wasn't breaking. The other mindset is that those 2 were strictly reinforced so they wouldn't break, and that's why everything was done on it, and it was kind of playing to the old, the infamous 1990 Mankind, Hell in a Cell match that Mankind Mick Foley fell through.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to believe the second. I personally believe.
Yeah, same with me. I think it wasn't supposed to break, and I think the ending almost verifies that.
Yes.
They obviously had an ending set in place that took place outside of the ring.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine they wanted them to break through it. I liked the stuff on top of the cage, but I think it could have went 5 minutes, 7 minutes less.
Well, I don't know. I love the fact that this pay-per-view went a half hour over scheduled time. I love that. Just soak it in.
I've heard a lot of complaints about it. I watched it in 2 sittings, so I don't know. I watched it up to the women's title match live, and then I fell asleep because I had to work the next morning, and then I watched the women's title match and to the end. And it didn't seem horribly long, but again, a lot of the things I've watched and read and heard was that it was too long. Watching it in 2 settings, I didn't get that. Did you watch it live all the way through, Pasty?
I didn't watch it live. I was behind, but it
did
was
you watch it
10:34 when Kirsten
sitting?
looked at her phone and she's like, "Fuck." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "The pay-per-view literally just ended now," and it was 10:34 on the clock, and it was. So I knew I had a lot more to watch, and that made me happy.
Did you watch it in one sitting though?
Yeah, and for me, this was a fight forever kind of thing. Like I didn't want this match to end. I liked watching them do the shit on the top. It was nerve-wracking, especially when they start swaying and stumbling. Somebody could have fell off accidentally just from having the wrong footing, and to me that was good. And I love the fact that it didn't end up there. I love the fact that they came back down again for a second go-around because it was great.
See, and I'm scared of heights, so it adds it to me.
Right.
Because I get fearful when I'm standing at the edge of a high spot.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm split on the Owens climbing back up thing. So, for those of you who may not have seen it or want to recap, Kevin Owens he did. He did. Because he had Shane McMahon on the German or some fucking foreign language announce table, and he climbed back up the cage. And then he walked forward like he was going to...
That was how they got up on top of the cell. You're behind times here.
And he walked forward like he was. Yeah, I know, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to tell you something here.
Okay.
I'm trying to express my what I thought. He walked forwards to it and like he was gonna jump off it and do an elbow.
A cannonball. And then he walked back like
oh. So I did that like 3 or 4 times, but the problem I have is the Kevin Owens I love. Is it Kevin Owens who teases he's going to do something you want him to do, and then he doesn't do it to piss you off? But he sold this like he was just scared to jump off it.
Right.
And I didn't like that. I wanted Kevin Owens
saying... I think it was necessary because it goes to show, Shane's willing to jump off shit without thinking about it. Kevin Owens his mind got the better of him in that point. I think that was an important story point.
And that was the story they were telling. And I get that story. And it played beautiful. I mean, it worked perfectly with what they did. I'm not denying that. But I wanted my Kevin Owens, when I seen him start climbing up the cage, I honestly, and I'm not kidding, I honestly said, he's going to walk up to it and act like he's going to do it. And then he's going to go, nope. And he's going to walk down. And he didn't do that. And that did disappoint me. It didn't take away from the match. But that did disappoint me because I thought that was a good way to further his character.
Yeah.
Now, you can also say the good way to further his character was he was too scared to do what Shane was willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. That also furthers that character dynamic. I just wanted it to go a different way than it did. I didn't get what I wanted, and I'm whining about it.
But nonetheless,
but the ending, Pasty.
Owens goes to climb down from the cage. Shane catches him, bashes him off the cage a couple times. He falls through one announce table, breaks it. Shane climbed down, put him on the other announce table, and climbed back up, like we all knew he would. And he didn't hesitate to drop that elbow. And when he did, Sami Zayn came out of nowhere like an RKO and pulled Kevin Owens off the table.
Hell yeah!
In the, probably, I'm going to say the one bonus point that is going to get you over me on this, because we ended this thing in a tie, minus bonus points.
Did we end in a tie?
Yes. Or no, with your bonus point, I think is what it was. No, because you got Bobby Roode. That tied it up, and then we both got Kevin Owens.
The only thing I will say is, so I did. I said I wanted Sami Zayn to turn heel and give Owens the win, and he did that. Shane McMahon jumped off the cage. Sami Zayn pulled Owens out of the way. Shane fell through the table, and then Sami put Owens on top of Shane to get the win. But if you remember, I also predicted that nobody would do a high spot off the Hell in a Cell for the Kevin Owens-Shane McMahon match.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And so I didn't get that. I did call that. I called that nobody would. And we did get the a repeat, which I thought was unnecessary. I didn't need to see that again. It is an amazing thing to watch, and I give him all the respect in the world. But Shane, don't ever fucking do it again, ever, ever, ever. I don't want to see you do it again.
He's going
There
to.
are cool bumps and there are dangerous things I like people to see. That's not one of them. I don't want to see you jump off the Hell in a Cell onto that. Don't do it anymore. Please.
At least this time the airbag wasn't a complete tragedy.
Did you notice both? I'll be willing to bet, and I thought this when I was watching it. I think all three announce tables were gimmicked with an airbag.
Oh yeah, because when Kevin Owens hit, there was one for sure.
But yeah, when Kevin Owens hit, there was an airbag, and that one there was an airbag. And part of me says that WWE is smart enough to say they might pull an audible and bust up another one. Let's just have all of them airbagged.
Might as well.
Like, there's part of me that thinks all of them had to have been airbagged.
Mm.
No, awesome.
Including the ones up in the audience.
Right? And we had two Hell in a Cell matches that should go down in history as two of the best, right? In the top, at least in your top 20.
No, this is going to be in my top 5.
If not top 10.
Both of them will be in my top 5.
There you go.
I'll give it that much. Definitely. Holy shit. This is the Hell in a Cell I've been waiting my entire adult life to see.
I might change my opinion, but as of now, I put Usos and New Day above Shane and Kevin Owens.
So for me, it's too hard to call because they were worlds apart. That's my stand on it. I love them both.
They were two very
different
matches.
Yes.
Yeah. How? I mean, you got to give it to all. What is there? 2, 4, 6 to all 6 participants that they were able to give you 2 completely different fucking Hell in a Cell matches in the same night.
Yep.
Like literally just hours apart.
They made the Hell in a Cell match great again.
Beautiful. So I'm going on saying that not only were the Hell in a Cell matches great, but most of the undercard I thought were good to great.
It was very satisfying.
The women's title match I thought was great. Yeah, Rude and Ziggler was good.
Corbin winning.
Yeah, what else do we have? Corbin, the ending of that alone I thought was great. World match, not good. I'll say that, not good. Rusev and Randy Orton, not good. Okay, so I'll give them that.
Women's match was pretty good. pre-show match is stricken from the
what
record
was there,
because it
7?
really doesn't count. So that's only 2 matches that were really in the whole night. That's good. Good on WWE.
So out of what is that out of? 1,
7 out
2,
of 7. 2 out of
3,
7.
4,
2 out of 7
5.
ain't bad.
5, yes. Yeah, so 5 out of 7 were good to great.
Yeah.
I call it a winner. I mean, I think our opinion is different to almost every other podcast or video I've watched or even report that I've read.
Well, that's what sets us apart, my friend.
Most people say that it's a good paper. Yeah, most people say that it's a good pay-per-view, but only because of the 2 Hell in a Cell matches. I say it's a great pay-per-view because of the other matches, other than Hell in a Cell.
Right, everything.
It would be a good one with. Yeah,
everything
it would be good with just the 2 Hell in a Cells.
Yeah.
But it was great because of all the other stuff in between. So we did get long. Sorry, Loke. We were good at staying on point, but then this Hell in a Cell actually got us for quite a while.
Hey, the Hell in a Cell match or pay-per-view went overtime, so we might as well go overtime a little bit. But now's the part where we cut it short.
There you go.
Snip a little bit too much
so,
off the top.
Yeah, we got to get going. I got to get going. I got early doctor's appointments. You got work to do, and everybody else got shit to do. So I'm going to say my quick, I love everybody out there. I love you like a lovesick puppy.
And I love you even
Beef
more.
in a cell.
Catch
and
that
is all
sweet
we have
meat
tonight.
treat again next week. Thursdays at 8 p.m. YouTube, Spreaker, and everywhere else as soon as we're done. Thank you, folks.
And Joe bless you.
This beef stick's rolling on down the old